Today I picked up a flat top fountain pen. I've never made a fountain pen before, or even used one for that matter. So I picked up this here. Also, I got the kit, so it came with the bushings and this spacer bushing here, which will come in handy here in a second. We'll show you. And of course the kit also came with the proper drill bit. So I'm going to make this today. I also picked up a Purple Heart blank, which I will be using. So let's get started. So first thing, I'm going to mark out for my tubes the length of wood. We've got this bushing here that gives a 1/4 inch spacer, so I will mark out my wood with this flush to the end, and I'll give a little bit more so I can barrel trim it, and then from that line I will mark my other tube, adding just over a 1/16 on each side, once again for barrel trimming. And let's go cut that. So I'm just over here on the bandsaw and we'll trim these off. So the part that's a 1/4 inch space, I know this end's square cut already, so I'll use this end here to put my bushing, and these ends here will be a little bit longer and I can barrel trim them. This one I won't be able to barrel trim, so that's why I want to keep a square edge. And of course this one here, it's getting barrel trimmed on both ends, so it doesn't have to be perfectly square. Let's get to cutting. So here's my square end for the shorter barrel. I'm going to mark out center on each of these blanks and drill them out. The size is the same for both. So I'll mark these out and get to the drill press. So using the self-centering vise, I will drill out the holes. Making sure to get it exactly right in the middle. Clears the chips out pretty good at first, but once you get lower, I find that backing it off just a bit to clear it out, it helps. And let's take a look. So we're pretty good in the center here, and coming out the other end, it's perfect. Lots of room on this piece, and we'll go ahead and drill the next one. So note to self next time, when I had placed my spacer on the tube, I obviously didn't check it to see if it was sitting flush on the end, because I'm just perfect here on this side, but it didn't really leave me very much room to barrel trim, so luckily it was exactly the length that I need. Next time for sure I'll have to make sure that this bushing is definitely sitting flush with the tube before I mark my extra 1/16 of an inch, or else I could have cut that a little bit too short. So next step is gluing in. I came across a problem last time I made one of these. The glue kind of squeezed out past into this 1/4 inch area, and I accidentally glued my spacer to the tube. So it was a waste. I had to tear it all apart, and it was messy. It didn't turn out very good. So this time I'm going to be diligent on the fact that I don't put glue on the last 1/4 inch, and I will slide it in this way without going back and forth. I'll just spin it as I go and have the 1/4 inch sticking out this side, making sure that there's no glue on there when I glue it in and put my spacer on, or else I'll run into the same problem as the last time. So let's get to gluing this up and see how it comes out. So I ran into a little problem. Apparently this does not sit flush to the end. For the measurement of this blank, it actually overhangs. The other kit I have, the half twist ballpoint, this sits flush to the end, and I assumed that this one did the same, but I was mistaken. I read the instructions before I glued, luckily, and my blank has to be 1 7/8 inch long, which is not 1 7/8 from here to the bushing. It's 1 3/4, so this actually has to overhang 1/8 of an inch. I mean, really, they could have just made the spacer to be the proper width, which would have made it a lot easier. But now I messed up, so my blank is a little bit short. So what I'm going to do is just glue this piece of maple that I have on the end. I will cut my piece to length, which is 1/8 inch longer, so I'll have a strip of maple 1/8 of an inch. I'll flush cut the ends, and problem solved. Re-drill my hole and continue on. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I glued my piece of maple on the end. I've flushed it all up, cut it to length at exactly 1 7/8, re-drilled my hole. So, crisis averted there. Now, according to the plans, I'm exactly 1 7/8 of an inch. My tube will go through and overhang that much. I wish, though, that they would have supplied a spacer. Oh, here we go. That would have been exactly a 1/16 of an inch, or sorry, 1/8 of an inch less. So a spacer 1/8 of an inch would have eliminated all of this problem. But in a good way here, it got a little accent strip for the bottom, so kind of turned out all right. I'll glue these in and I'll come back. Alright, so I got it mounted up on the lathe. As I was barrel trimming the end, it sort of split this a little piece on the edge here that kind of split off. So I think what I'll do is just put a little bit of thin CA glue in there. Just spread it all over inside that crack, and hopefully that'll hold it together. I'll give it a little spray of activator here. And geez, activator with a different type of CA glue does some weird stuff. I suppose I should only use the proper activator. This is different CA and different activator. I had no idea that it would do that, but it's on. So just gonna give it a shot here and see what happens. Wish me luck. I have never turned one of these pens before, so we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna run it at the fastest speed I got. Just gonna take some light cuts. So that's not looking too bad right now. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it down, and I'll come back when I get closer to the bushings. Alright, so I'm pretty close to the bushings. I like to leave at least a fingernail's worth above the bushing because sanding takes it down to where I want it. I start with a 150 and work my way up to a 600. This is about where I want it. I can do a little bit of extra shaping if I want with the sandpaper, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm not going to bore you with the sandpaper because there's nothing fun about that. So I'll get back to you when I'm done. So I've went ahead and finished sanding all the way up to 600. The thing I don't like about these new bushings is that the black coating on it seems to seep into the wood for the first couple pens. After sand it off, of course, that doesn't happen. I think what I'll do from now on with new bushings is just put them on the lathe and sand it off there. But anyways, this is what I got. So ordinarily I do the Ultra Shine and beeswax to finish it off. I was going to try my hand at CA finish, but I don't have any medium CA, I just have thin, and I don't really feel too confident about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and shine it, seal it with beeswax. I'll get a good coat on that, and then I'll give it a good firm pressure and heat it up and get it in there nice and good in the grains. I'm not too sure if it's necessary to put a second coat on, but I like to. And then to finish it off, I'll melt a little beeswax on top. Alright, I think that's melted in pretty good. It's the part I like here. Seeing what the finished product looks like. And look at that, that's real nice. It's got a nice shine on it. Once again, the black coating on these bushings. I'm gonna have to take these bushings and sand that off. It seems to have seeped into the maple that I put in there, but unfortunately it is what it is. So I'm gonna take this off here, bring it to the pen press, and get this kit together. Okay, I got my pieces off of the mandrel. I took the kit out of the bag to come across a gazillion pieces. So, as per instructions, let's get started. I'll press the 3-piece center band onto the exposed ring. My daughter's home. Alright, let's carefully get this on here. And now we'll press the end on here. The finial bushing. So this will go onto here like so. We'll press that on. Get my big fat fingers out of the way. And I'll assume that this sits flush. And now we can screw on the clip. Okay, so I believe this end is now finished. I'm actually going to move this over a little bit. There's some nice nice grain here that I want to be shown. Okay. Now, I'm going to press this end in. So I want to make sure that the grain lines up. So I'm going to screw this on. Make sure that my grain lines up. I'll carefully unscrew it and press this into place now. Okay, I believe I can set this aside and start on this. So press the finial into the black tube. This is the lower part. I will now press the reducer coupling into the other end. And I believe now we can press this into the end of our upper tube. Now let me straighten this out. Okay. I believe this will go into here. Screw on my end piece. I'll remove the protective cap. So here's the end. See if I can focus. It's pretty nice. All right, and that's that. So this is the flat top fountain pen. Not too bad. Seems to fit nice. Everything's fit up nice and flush. And that accent ring actually, it looks really nice. See, it's nice with the black ring that's in the center. I don't know, turned out really good. All right, thanks.